Alright, here's a cooling design that I've come up with that doesn't use any space age materials. All it uses is steel for the thermo aquatuners and water flow through the aquatuners themselves. So the whole idea behind this design was a coincidence that I found between using 3 aquatuners and 2 steam turbines. Alright, so to understand my whole idea behind the design, we need to look at a specific heat calculation or a couple of them. So here we have the thermal capacity of water. Here we have the grams per second of steam used by the steam turbines. And here we have the change in temperature between steam and water once the turbine has used the steam itself. That gives us this figure here. That's how much heat that the steam turbines has deleted per second. If we times that by 2, we get this figure here for the aquatuners. Here again, we have the thermal capacity of water. Here we have 10,000 grams or 10 kilograms of water flowing through the pipes and 14 degrees change in temperature, which is a flat change that the aquatuners produce with any liquid. That gives us this figure here. If we times that by 3, we'll get this figure here. And you'll notice that this figure is identical to this one up here. And in theory, that should mean that there should be no downtime for the steam turbines, as they are deleting just as much heat as the aquatuners are adding to the boiler room. So if we can minimize the downtime of both the aquatuners and the steam turbines, that means we know how much power this whole setup will be consuming or producing on average. Alright, here's the whole plumbing setup from start to finish. Here's the pump, it'll pump it into this bridge here, into the system. It'll bring it down through this liquid shutoff just to check to make sure that no water below temperature has entered the system. If it has, it'll output it. Otherwise, it'll pass into the first aquatuner. That'll outflow through into another liquid shutoff with a thermosensor. If that's still above temperature, it'll flow into the second aquatuner, and so on. Same, it'll repeat with a liquid shutoff into the third one, and then output the system if it's below temperature. If it's not, it'll flow through this liquid shutoff, come back into a bridge, and flow back into the start of the system. So an important point you need to understand in this game is that any liquid flowing past an output point, it'll favour the water that's already inside the pipe before any water that tries to come through the output port. So you can see the pump is trying to pump water back into the system if there's a spare spot. If there's already liquid in the pipe, water already flowing through the pipe that's come through the last aquatuner back into the system, it'll favour that liquid first. There would be any number of ways you could produce a system like this, but essentially you want water flowing through all the aquatuners at all times so that there's not any downtime with them. I've also used liquid reservoirs here just to prevent any blockages from the liquid shutoffs. Using this whole design, you can be fairly confident that the entire system will be consuming 2 kilowatts of power per second, while producing 6.5 kilograms of cool water per second, cooling down water from 95 degrees Celsius down to 30 degrees Celsius, which is appropriate for farming. While in theory these 3 aquatuners should be able to continually power these steam turbines without a loss in power, there is a very gradual loss in heat from the steam room. So to counteract that effect, I've set up a simple automation loop here using a memory toggle. So once this thermosensor here reaches 195 degrees Celsius, it'll activate this memory toggle. If the temperature inside the room gets down to 185 degrees Celsius, it'll activate this signal here, which will reset the toggle, switching it off until this again reaches 195 degrees.